Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're talking about spoilers for Secrets of Power, and be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see the newest leader. Okay, so our first spoiler we are talking about is Moral Authority. 3-cost upgrade in Hero is a +2/+0, and you have to attach it to a friendly unique unit, and then that unit gains, when played, attached unit captures an enemy non-leader unit with less remaining HP than it. So if you remember the card Legal Authority from Set 2 Shadows of the Galaxy, it is very similar to that card, but that card dealt with your unit's power instead of its health. So this one is kind of the opposite. And it seems capture is still a mechanic that will be going on forward in this game. I am interested to see how capture does in this set. In my opinion, in some of the other sets, capture has been overpriced. Not always, but most of the time seemed overpriced just to me. Our second card is Topple the Summit. It is an event in Aggression. It costs 5, and it reads deal 5 damage to each damage unit. And then it has Plot. So I think this card is very interesting. I think it will be pretty difficult to use though, just because the units have to be damaged. So I don't know how you're going to do that. There are events that do damage every unit that you could do before this, but at the same time, it does also damage your units. But then as a little plus, it damages ground and space. So it's kind of a lot of things to think about. It looks like it would be kind of difficult to set up, and it does cost 5. So it looks like a lot, but I do think there could be some decks where there are some uses for it. Our next one, and one of the ones that I like from the set that I've seen so far, is Bog Down in Procedure. 3-cost event in Cunning. Exhaust a unit. You may disclose Cunning if you do exhaust another unit. So disclose is a new mechanic for Secrets of Power, and you just reveal a card in your hand with the aspect. In this case, it's Cunning, and then you get to do its extra ability. So I think paying 3 to exhaust 2 units, granted you have to show them a card in your hand, is actually pretty good. We have seen in Jump to Light Speed, there was a card, I think it was called Evasive Maneuver, just neutral 2-cost exhaust a unit. So I think this is better, and this could be good in specific situations. And then worst case scenario, you can also just pay 3 to exhaust a unit. Our next card, I think this one is pretty interesting. Taladurith. I can get you inside. Ground unit, 3-cost Cunning Hero. She is a 3/3. Each other friendly unit gains hidden, and she has Plot. So if I'm reading this correctly, that means you can play her with Plot, and that means your leader will have hidden for the phase. So that sounds very good. And also her traits are Imperial and Rebel. So I think that's very interesting. I don't know if there's any ways where you could get that to synergize well besides maybe a Chancellor Palpatine deck. But I do think is a very interesting thing that people could experiment with. And I think this card is good and could see played because of the Plot and hidden synergies with your leader. We have Primor Personnel Carrier, which is a space unit. It is an 8-cost in Command Villainy. It is a vehicle transport, 6/6 overwhelm with, when played, give this unit an experience token for each ground unit you control. So this card obviously could be a very big unit if you have the ground units, and is also something to keep note. This set does have token generation, and the tokens are ground units. So it could be I think we could see an interesting Command Villainy deck that likes making tokens or just having units on the board, and then you play this card and give an experience token to all your units. The only thing I'm a little worried about with this card is it comes out on 8, which is kind of late, and Super Laser Blast also happens on 8. So if you're not playing this on curve and there's no Super Laser Blast happening, no, if you're playing this on curve and then you get Super Laser Blasted, that's obviously going to feel really bad. Or if they Super Laser Blast and you played a turn late, there's not going to be any ground units for you to play, so that would also be bad. But in general, I think this card is going to be pretty good. Obviously, in the control matchups, it's going to be a little harder to use because of them removing your units. So I think this will probably go into a more control-oriented mid-range deck. Our next card, Budget Scheming, 2-cost command event. Give an experience token to each of up to 3 official units. I think this card is definitely interesting. I don't know how often it would be played, but it is a common, which means you will see it in draft a lot and in sealed a lot. I think this will be a good card to use in pre-releases because official units will be everywhere. The developers have said this is an official themed set and it is a spy themed set, so you will have a lot of officials to use for this event, so this will be a good way to get in damage in those kinds of formats. We have It's Not Over Yet event, 2-cost aggression. You may ready a unit that didn't attack or enter play this phase. Create a spy token. So this one's one of the more interesting cards that I don't know how it would be used other than if you're up against a deck that exhausts units a lot, like Cal, but we haven't seen Cal played much, so I don't know in what situations be used, because it can't have entered play this phase, so you can't play a unit and then just ready it. So they would have to either be a unit that got exhausted from your opponent's deck, or it'd have to be a unit that reads something along the lines of, this unit can't ready unless X ability. So we have seen some cards with that, so it could be interesting, but I think it's probably more of a sideboard card for the situations and decks that exhaust your units more. Next, we have the Mandalorian, 8-cost cunning hero ground unit. He is a 6/8 with ambush. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you may choose an enemy non-leader unit. This unit captures it. I think this card is good and probably will see play as long as decks are getting that late in Cunning Hero, which I'm guessing they will with how this set works. Because basically he comes down and there's most likely going to be a guy that has 6 or less health remaining. So you just attack him with the ambush and then capture someone else. So this card's an instant 2-for-1, but it's easily, you could argue it's actually a 3-for-1, because it then incentivizes them to throw their units into the Mandalorian to make sure he's not capturing more guys. So they could spend their turn attacking the Mandalorian. So he could become a pseudo Sentinel as well. So I think this card is really good and we'll see play. And then we have another Mandalorian. We got Bo-Katan Kryze, 9-cost Vigilance Heroism Mandalorian, 8/8. When played, give each enemy unit -3/-3 for this phase. When an enemy unit is defeated, give an experience token to a friendly unit. I think this card is really good. The -3/-3 is bound to most likely kill, I'm going to guess, 3 units most of the time, unless you are playing a blue deck that usually takes out their units and controls them more. But even then, there's probably still targets. And giving the experience tokens in that case is really good. But also the experience tokens when enemy units are defeated is always going to happen. It's not only for that phase. So whenever your opponent's unit dies, you just get experience tokens. So what I'm thinking as I see this is you could play Luke Skywalker to give -6/-6 to a guy, start taking down their guys, get some restore going. And then you can play Bo-Katan Kryze 2 turns later to get some even more board dominance and get some experience tokens on your guys. So I think this will be a really good board stabilizer for Blue Hero. But I think what makes it really good is also in Chancellor Palpatine Blue. You can play it alongside Snoke because Chancellor Palpatine flips from hero to villain, making it so Bo-Katan Kryze would be a terrible card for you to be against if Snoke is on the field, because it is even more guys that they're going to be able to defeat. This card also has incredible ability to snowball, because giving all the experience tokens, you can choose to put it all on one guy, but generally I recommend you split them up in case they have removal. And if you have a guy that has overwhelm, that makes this card even better, because you can give the experience tokens to the guy with overwhelm, then attack into a unit, defeat the unit, overwhelm damage to the base, and get another experience token. So overall, I think this card is really good, and it is only a rare. So this card is extremely good and will be a pretty budget way for some new players to get good cards as well. Next, we have the Fulminatrix. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Fulminatrix. It is a space unit. It is 8 cost aggression villain. It is a 9/7 with when played / on attack, you may deal 4 damage to a ground unit. It is first order vehicle and capital ship. So Phasma might use this. I don't think Phasma has used it because they usually don't go that late in Phasma decks. But it's also a capital ship, which means Piet will also want this card. And I think this will be a good card in Piet. But I think regardless of that, it's just a good card because you play it and it is a obviously just like big presence in space. And then it also deals with their ground units. So their space units might attack into the Fulminatrix, so, and then taking them out. And then when you attack with it, it can also take out ground units. Or if they don't take it out, it's doing 9 damage to base. So I think this will be a good way to end the game and also hopefully stabilize the board a little bit to keep control of your opponent's ground units. Next, we also have Mina Bonteri. It is a 2 cost command hero ground unit that is a 2/4 separatist official with restore 1, and when defeated, you may disclose double command and hero. If you do, draw a card. So I think this card is pretty good. 2 cost, 2/4 restore 1 sounds pretty good. When defeated will happen. It's hard to tell because we don't know a lot about disclose yet and how well it'll play without testing it. But one thing I also find interesting is she's a separatist. So if you haven't watched the Clone Wars show, she is in the show where she kind of teams up with Padme for a little bit as Padme learns about the separatist movement. But regardless of that, it reminds me of a card in Twilight of the Republic. I don't remember exactly. I'll probably put it on the screen. The card keys off separatist unit and Republic units. So you want both of those. So this card will help with that card. We don't know how much we'll see play, of course, but overall, I think this unit is just decent no matter what. 2 cost, 2/4, restore 1, pretty good. Next, we got Bail Organa, 2 cost, 2/4, cunning hero, and on attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, create a spy token. So we got that 2/4 stat line, it's still good. On attack, you can discard a card and blah, 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 create a spy token. So I think that is an interesting ability. It synergizes with you wanting to be able to play cards from your discard pile. Hero doesn't have a lot of ways to do that outside of salvage, which keys off specifically vehicle units. And it obviously synergizes with the Padme leader that wants cards to be discarded or revealed from your hand. But I could see an advantage to this in a deck that draws a lot of cards, because then you basically get free spy tokens because you just discard the cards you don't want. We'll have to see how it shakes out, but I think it will be good in the decks that it is good in. Next, we got Ahsoka Tano, a new Ahsoka unit. It is a 3 cost in command hero, 2/5 force Jedi Republic. When this unit completes an attack and survives, you may disclose command hero. If you do, attack with another unit. I think this is a really good card. 3 cost, 2/5 is pretty good, and it has that ability that makes it so you attack with another unit. So action compression is really good in this game, especially for more aggressive decks. That way you can get your damage in with your big guys early and then play your cards and still claim. So I think this card will get into some more aggressive decks and maybe even some mid-range decks. I think it is just really solid overall and still has the force, which is relevant. And then we got Hunter. I think this is our first Hunter unit besides the leader. He is a 6 cost cunning hero, 7/6 saboteur with on attack. If the defender is exhausted, it gets -4/-0 for this attack. I think this card is interesting. I would have liked it better if he had Overwhelm and not Saboteur. I get thematically he should have Saboteur, but I just don't know how much I would want to attack into units when he can attack the base no matter what because he has Saboteur. So I think it is definitely an interesting card and looks pretty decent. Not gonna lie, it looks pretty good. And then we got our first leader revealed for Secrets of Power. Besides the Spotlight Dex leader, we have Dedra Miro, aggression villain, action, pay 1, exhaust, choose an enemy unit. Its controller may deal 2 damage to it. If they don't, draw a card. So that ability alone looks pretty good, but on the flip side, you also have, she comes out on 4, and she's a 2/5 that has, when you have more cards in hand than an opponent, this unit gets raid 2. So that's really good because then she's a attacking 4/5. So I think this leader in blue decks, off the top of my head, because you get Dr. Pershing, will be really good, and I think this will be a leader that is definitely played, at least in the early stages of this game. And there you have it, our spoilers for Secrets of Power. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.